Right, I would be reviewing this from the van, but the van is very poorly, so we are going to do it outside. It is the TOPUMP or TOPUMP. TPS300. Now this has an internal battery, very similar to the other one I reviewed. If I do that, I might remember to link the other one. So it is a 20 PSI SUP pump. I got this off Amazon, all paid for by myself. This wasn't a review copy. I was just intrigued to see how it actually pans out. Now, my usual film set in the van isn't an option, so we're going to have a bit of a look. It's comprehensive packaging. Right, while I try and figure this out, quick shout out to some of my friends that have sent me bits and pieces. Got waivers, beach shoes, and the new shorties shorts. They're sort of jogging shorts, giving them a bit of a try out. Right, as is usual with TOPUMP, I'm going to call him TOPUMP. I'm not going to call him TOPUMP anymore. You always get this, and it is, I think, adorable is the right word. Dear Master, it's my pleasure to serve you. Aww. Little pump. Sorry if I'm loud. So you get all of this here, which is actually, you know, it's quite useful actually. It does say what's going on, what's happening. Can't screw on, too tight. Replace the washer with the white one. That's all good stuff. So yeah, I am impressed. So in the box, let me show you as I squint at the sun. You get a mystery thing in here, a mystery thing in here, probably the hose, mystery thing, and the pump. So let's start with mystery one. That's going to be a hose, isn't it? That's a hose all day long. Right, it is a hose. It has the standard adapter that we're used to. It's twisty, it works. And a full bag of bits with two different sizes of washers, which is interesting, which is useful actually. We'll see how we get on with that. And all the various adapters. Now, on my last video, I did promise that I would learn all the names of these adapters, but this is a SUP pump review, so there is SUP pump adapters on there. Okay, mystery bag 2. It is a 240 DC adapter with a kettle lead in there, so that will charge the device. Now the other pump would charge by USB. I think that this one doesn't charge by USB, so that is the main difference. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. Was it the 100? So this is the 300, maybe the 100. Check out the other video. I will probably put some text on screen to let you know. Okay, so it does come with the cigarette marine style adapter, 12 volt. So you can charge it from your van or power it from your van. We will find out. And the unit itself, now, is relatively bulky. However, that's not always a bad thing. Right, okay, so what we've got on the bottom here is a USB port and the 12 volt in. Now the USB looks like an out, so this acts as an actual battery bank. Interesting. So my original theory looks correct. The adapter in here is so you can plug it straight into your van, so you're not using the internal battery on this thing. So let's hope we have a charge. So it comes with, I don't know if you can be able to see that, it's only got 2 bars of charge, so fingers crossed it's enough to pump the board up so we can give it a review. It does have a nice strap on the top there to keep everything together. It's not too heavy. Feels like maybe 1 kilogram, maybe 2. Seems all right. Usual inflate, deflate. Manual. Okay, so there are 3 pages of instructions before in English, and the rest is all the other languages. So let's have a quick look. Storage, charging point. That's the 12 volt charging. Power outlet, yes. So it is, so you can charge your phones from it. That is quite handy. So you can't charge this one via USB, but it will take 12 volt. By a charging port, yep. Power outlet, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I did get in touch with TOPUMP about this, and I asked them, you know, is this the latest? And they said no. So the last video I did, the much more compact unit, that is their latest pump. And it is a lot smaller, the other one. So we're going to hope with 2 bars of charge that we can see if we can beat the 7-minute time on the other one. Right, pop it in the inflate. There's quite a nice sturdy fit there. Short hose, but it doesn't matter, it's portable. Right, let us grab the SUP one. This is the shorter one. It does come with a longer one. Don't know what the adapters are, do your research. So screw this on. Check I'm in shot, I hope I am. Make sure my valve's up and down. Okay, it's on. 15 PSI. And go. And go. Interesting. It's a single press on the power button. This is why you should read a manual, but I'm doing this so you don't have to. Oh, I've not even got my watch on. Stopwatch. Okay, that's about 30 seconds. Stopwatch, go. And we'll see how that gets on. I don't advise you have them on the board because they can get a little warm. Are we in shot? Only just. Okay, second stage around the 2-minute mark, which is about normal. So I'm going to crack open a beer and let it pump up. Obviously I'm not going paddling. Although I did have a lesson today. And I had to do it all on the motorbike, which this camera is precariously balanced on. Okay, noise test wise, it is a different noise. I'd say it's louder, but it is a different type of noise. It's no more or less obnoxious, but yeah, it is a higher pitched noise, but it does, I've not heard the Hicks 10'6", which I've reviewed recently and I'm using it as my benchmark. I've not heard it pop. Like the noise when I turn that on, the board, it seemed to push a lot of air really quickly, which is a good thing. Okay, we are at, this seems quick. This is very quick. So we're at 4.5 minutes. And 9 PSI. Battery charging only for TP300. Unit has a built-in rechargeable battery for pumping. Can be used to charge other devices. Battery level can be checked. Battery can be recharged. 12 volt or the 240. And it has a 7,500 milliamp battery. So 7 amp hours. Right, so 7.5 minutes. Not a bad time. It's about the same as the last pump. And moaning neighbours aside, that is pretty short, actually. It's not too bad. It's pretty much the same as the last one. And we're going to follow up and see how many times it can pump it up. On a full battery. So all in all, pretty much the same as the last one. A little bit more expensive. And yeah, the TOPUMP TPS300.
Hello folks, we got the TOPUMP TPS300 and just going to demo it and show you what's good and not so good about it. I got this inflatable board. It's definitely fully out of inflation. I put the hose on so as tight as can be. This thing goes to 15 PSI and all you got to do is connect it to the back, which is kind of good because it has a swivel. So all you got to do is swivel. Swivels are great. Swivel, tight. Alright, so we got that. What we're going to do now is turn it on. Now the screen says 2. It's flashing 2. Now let's just change the, we can change it to the amount of pressure we want to. So that is 2.5 psi, 3 psi. Let's set it to 2 psi. It's almost a full battery, and see what happens. Now it says 0 because there's 0 pressure there. And when I press start, we'll see what we got. One other thing I just kind of want to, before we start, to show you the full pump. What's really odd is the insides are exposed. You can actually see wires and the chip underneath here. Yeah, you can see the red wire giving the right light. So this whole processor is exposed to the environment. It's a very good question how long this thing is going to last in a salty environment, but let's give it a go. Let's press start. Board is inflating. Still says 0 psi, but it's starting to inflate. You can see it moving up a little bit. The board's taking some shape. Oh, there it goes. Goes. Got some shape, but it's still a little soft. And it still says 0 on it. I'm just going to hold it there. So it's still soft. You can see it wiggle around. Still 0 psi. But it's starting to take shape. Now spin. It's been a minute now. Still at 0 psi. Still soft. 0 still. It's open. It's exposed. Should be working. We still have 0. We'll get some good angle of light here. There's no debris in there. This thing is brand new, and it's still at 0 psi and soft. And going on to 2 minutes now. This board is still wonky. And the pressure is still 0. Why is that? So you can see it's still soft. The whole thing kind of shakes. Just got this thing from Amazon, straight out of the box. And it hasn't worked the first time or the second time. Now this is the third time. And we re-took off the hose and made sure everything's tight. So you can hear this is definitely tight around here. It's sealed. And this is as tight as can be. So we got 3 minutes and still a soft board, right? Still soft, still soft. Alright, let's add more pressure. Let's put it to 3 and see if it'll change. Still saying 0. Still the same deal. It's gonna be 4 minutes. pressure. Let's change it to 5 PSI. Will make a difference. Still 0. There you have it. This thing does not work. This is not how a board is supposed to inflate. Never mind how exposed all the elements are, which would question the durability of this product. So we're about 5 minutes and this pump still reading 0 PSI. And you probably just hand pump the whole thing by now. There you have it, the TOPUMP TPS300. Yeah, disappointment. Alright, buddy here brought over an Avro pump to show you the difference between these two. And this guy is less than half the size. You can even see it in the height itself. It's dramatically, the body is even lower than the main body, plus this handle's bigger. It's half the weight of this guy, and we'll show you how it inflates. It does not have a digital reader or indicator, but we put on this analog PSI gauge and stuck 2 hoses together. All we gotta do here is flick the switch, full power's on, and set it to the correct PSI, which in this case we'll just put it at 2 PSI. And right now it's reading 0, so let's give it a start here. See how the board takes shape. The one thing about this is that it has filters. The contained unit. Nice and tight. Board is getting some air. 1 minute now. It just automatically stopped at 2 PSI. I did not press the button. It did its job. Look at that. Now that's a bit of a difference. And this guy is firm. You can definitely tell it's fully shaped.
Vediamo come si presenta il prodotto, una grafica indicante appunto i tipi di utilizzi, il prodotto in sé, il modello e i 20 PSI e il fatto che sia ricaricabile. Qui vediamo appunto ripetuto il tutto, informazioni per quanto riguarda l'importatore e poco altro, diciamo. Qui abbiamo le specifiche nel dettaglio. Abbiamo la specifica di dimensioni che sono 308 per 200 per 143 mm, il peso che sono 2 kg, la batteria da 7800 mAh a 12 V, l'amperaggio massimo a 12 A, il voltaggio a 12 V, la temperatura di lavoro dai meno 10 ai più 60, il modello, il manufacturer, quindi appunto il produttore, e i contatti per quanto riguarda l'assistenza. Andiamo ad aprire il prodotto. Scatola comunque gradevole, anche adatta per un eventuale idea regalo. Andiamo ad aprire, qui vediamo un riferimento ai tipi di utilizzi che si può fare di questo prodotto, un ringraziamento da parte del produttore e tutto quello che diciamo può servire come un primo utilizzo. Vediamo che potrebbe essere un po' rumoroso, ma ci sta. Qui vediamo appunto per quanto riguarda le performance, si consiglia di collegarlo a un alimentatore. Dice che se vedete che si sta gonfiando in maniera diciamo poco efficiente, controllate se ci sono perdite da qualsiasi tipo, controllare che ci sia la guarnizione nell'ugello, insomma, e i riferimenti per il supporto. Qui vediamo appunto il prodotto che è diviso in bustine, abbiamo un manuale d'uso anche in italiano, vediamo se riusciamo a trovarlo, eccolo qui vediamo la compatibilità con i diversi prodotti, appunto il tipo di valvole per ogni tipo di prodotto, vediamo l'ingresso e l'uscita e il manettino come vanno inseriti, le dimensioni, ancora qui tutte le interfacce, la porta di uscita USB perché abbiamo anche la possibilità di sfruttare questi mAh per la ricarica, e la porta d'ingresso per l'alimentatore che appunto può essere effettuata in diversi modi, sia con la presa dell'accendisigari dell'auto che con l'alimentatore da muro. Qui abbiamo tutti gli adattatori, il tubo che ora vedremo, insomma abbastanza semplice. Andiamo a vedere il prodotto in sé. La prima parte è contenuta in questa bustina e è rappresentata da il tubo, come vedete, di una mezza metrata. Qui abbiamo anche una ghiera che ci permette di facilitarne l'ancoraggio. Qui vediamo come si collega nella parte finale, ora lasciamo questo tipo di connettore, la guarnizione già inserita e le diversi tipi di guarnizione in funzione di quello che dobbiamo fare. Qui tutti invece i riferimenti per quanto riguarda gli adattatori, come vedete sono tutti uniti, quindi non rischiamo di perderli, e ce ne sono di diverso tipo, insomma, quindi siamo sicuri che da questo punto di vista non abbiamo problemi, ce ne sono veramente tanti e per ogni tipo di valvola, insomma, che ci possa essere. Vediamo il prodotto in sé. Abbiamo ancora il caricabatterie con il cavo, lo vediamo qui, vediamo il cavo di ricarica per la presa diciamo a 220, l'alimentatore a cui collegare il cavo e appunto, come dicevamo, il prodotto e niente più. Il prodotto è anche molto carino, ha questo colore rosa e celeste. Questo elastico ci può essere utile per diverse cose, tra cui soprattutto anche il portare il tubo, la tubazione e magari anche gli accessori vari. Mi sarebbe piaciuto magari vedere un qualcosa per collegarla in maniera un pochino più salda, però va bene così. Qui vediamo il riferimento all'inflate e il deflate, quindi per decidere come attaccarlo. La piettatura funziona abbastanza bene, abbastanza libera da attriti particolari. Vediamo che è fornito anche un fusibile per quanto riguarda la copertura da sovraccarico, e andiamo a vedere l'interfaccia tasti. L'interfaccia tasti che è abbastanza semplice, più o meno. Qui si appunto cambia il tipo di pressione e accensione, la vedremo comunque. Qui sotto possiamo vedere invece il connettore per il 12 V della batteria dell'auto con il connettore specifico per accendisigari. Per quanto riguarda la ricarica invece da diciamo corrente normale, diciamo quella di casa, qui abbiamo il connettore, qui invece abbiamo la presa USB per caricare un telefono o un qualsiasi dispositivo sfruttando la batteria dello stesso prodotto. Andiamo ad accendere il prodotto tenendo premuto appunto il tasto di accensione, vediamo come, magari cerco di spostare la telecamera in modo che si veda meglio. Ok, come c'è l'indicatore di batteria, qui possiamo cambiare le modalità se in bar o PSI, qui possiamo impostare la quantità di bar o PSI che sarà il nostro limite, come vedete arriva a 20 bar e 1,85, anche qua 1,40 per quanto riguarda, scusate, 20 PSI o 1,40 per quanto riguarda il bar. Abbiamo collegato sull'inflate, quindi adesso soffierà, quando noi andiamo a premere, da qui appunto soffierà. E avete sentito che il rumore è abbastanza, è normale anche perché il tubo spiralato produce questo tipo di rumore, però chiaramente quando si collega al materassino è un po' inferiore perché verrà un pochino smorzato dal materassino o il SUP o quello che vi collegate. Quindi che dire, il prodotto mi è piaciuto abbastanza, carino, ovviamente la potenza è quella che è, sono 20 PSI, quindi fate conto con quello che dovete gonfiare, è anche compatto, ha questa pratica maniglia Devo dire non male, carino. Mi sarebbe piaciuto magari vedere un modo di stoccaggio del tubo un pochino più preciso, magari un gancio, qualcosa più che questo elastico, però devo dire che comunque è carino.
Right, so this is my pump. Charged it this morning. It took ages to get to 3 bars, like it took about 4 hours just to get to 3 bars. Power worked. You see it's plugged in. Got it to the beach. It packed up in less than 5 minutes. Didn't even, well, probably about 3 minutes actually. Didn't even half inflate the board. This has been on for, God, ages now. And even pressing and holding that, nothing. Not even getting the battery light indicator, which indicates it was charging, which it was doing this morning. This is less than 10 months old. It's nearly 100 quid. Absolutely rubbish. It got about 3 uses this year. Sorry, last year. It's had 1 use this year, and for its 2nd use this year, just died. Absolutely rubbish, and I would like replacement, please.
Fan, compressor, automatic. Cable. As you can see, the unit will not turn on. If I plug it into power, it will boot itself up, register that it's charging. As you can see, it's not dead. It shuts itself back off. There's now an error message.